Martin Muses, where we talk about awesome things. And today it is the most awesome thing ever. It is the movie Jaws. Jaws has turned 50, and you can see it in the cinema again. For some people, like my mom, she called me today and she said she's going to go see it with my brother on Wednesday. That she was old enough, obviously, to see it in the cinema. So was my father. And then there's people like me who got to see it on the big screen for the first time ever, even though I've seen it 1,000 times, first on VHS and then on some bigger TV screens on DVD, but nothing was like seeing it again on the big screen, or rather seeing it for the first time on the big screen. And I have with me to talk about this perfect movie. And it's like, yeah, is this a perfect movie? It is. All the way from the north, the Viking himself, Steve Kenobi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh. I love this movie so much. It's killing me. When I was rewatching it on the big screen, every line, every scene, I knew exactly what was happening, what was going to happen, but it still enthralled me. It terrified me. And it was like seeing it for the first time. I got to the full impact of how isolated they were at the end on the orca, and how terrifying it is, and how genuinely funny some of those things still are after all these years.
Yeah.
I could rant about this forever. Well, but before we do, we have in the chat the Nordporeal life form. Haha, first, thank you for being here. Teresa's probably going to need a bigger stream. Good one. Oh, gosh, that scene is so good. And we have Maury. Woo! Hey, everyone. Hello. And of course, Salty Travel EC. Farewell and adieu to you, Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. I loved Robert Shaw in this movie.
Oh,
Even
you know what?
What?
You know when Hooper goes into the cage?
Yeah.
Right? If Hooper had gotten eaten, Quint should have said farewell and Jew, because Hooper was Jewish.
Oh my gosh, that would have been awful. But Quint would have done something like that.
Yeah.
Salty Traveling He says the 4K Blu-ray of Jaws is incredible. Most of my experience with the movie is TV aspect ratio 4:3, and the widescreen is incredible. Oh, I have a 4K TV now. That's what happens when you have a surgery. I got one last year, so I need to buy it in 40. But I tell you what, or 4K rather, if you can get your butt to the cinema, get there. It was such an experience. Total packed house. The jump scares still got you, even you knew they were coming, and people were screaming. And there were a few people I didn't notice till the end that they had brought their teenage kids for the first time, and they were loving it as well. I thought I was one of the youngest people because it was basically full of boomers and children of boomers. Oh, and the fact that it's been second in the box office here in America, I think for how many weeks in a row now, and they keep extending the showings.
Well, it's a timeless movie,
Yeah.
and that's what happens to movies like that. That they can wait another year and release it again, and it's
Yeah.
gonna break bank. There's a few movies. Well, there's actually a lot of movies like that you can just republish in a way in the cinema, and people will watch it. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is another one.
Yeah. They've started showing it annually here, usually in the winter, and it always sells out.
Yeah. And there's, a hell of a lot of Westerns that they can do that with. Imagine getting to see The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on the big screen.
Oh, I would be there in a second. Well, they're going to be showing The Sound of Music soon. And a little aside, I had a student who was so excited because his mom bought him tickets for the Lord of the Rings in the cinema, and he had never seen it in the cinema because he was not even born. So these things are timeless. Nordporeal Lifeform is telling us that Hooper gets eaten in the book. Does he?
Yeah, and Hooper also has a brother. I can't remember if the brother also gets eaten. And Hooper sleeps with Brody's wife, I think.
Oh, I remember that. That was something else. I'm rereading the book right now on Audible because I just have it all on my mind. Wow. Salty. Oh, does it look good on your 75-inch? Oh, dear. life form. Everything looks good on my big TV. Looks like it's in theaters here for the next few days. I might go afterward. Go. You
Yeah,
won't
do it.
regret it.
Do it or I'll kill you.
Oh my.
No, not really.
Well, there
I'm
you
not flying.
go.
I'm not flying over there for that. I'm too lazy.
Yeah, imagine that. You fly all the way from Norway
Yeah, imagine if I did it though. It's like,
out, out of spite.
yeah, kill it with a harpoon from Jaws.
Yeah.
There's like a barrel attached to the corpse.
Mm. Oh, is Steeg one of the survivors of the Indianapolis? Well, I'll tell
Well,
you what, he kind of sounds like it.
well, technically, because I was there, but I ate a lot of the sailors and survived that way.
Oh my gosh. But you have that timeless voice, though you don't even know it. That's why the rumor started you were from Downton Abbey. Salty Traveling Sea says, true story. I was dropped off alone at age 6 to see Herbie the Love Bug, and they showed the Jaws trailer to a theater full of kids who started crying, hiding behind the seats. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that trailer showed a lot. They used to show a lot of things in the trailers, almost give away the whole movie.
Oh, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trailers were awesome because they actually they made you want to watch it. I mean, even bad movies tended to have good trailers back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, Once Upon a Time in the West in the can you imagine that? I'll tell you, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Oh yeah, he sleeps with the wife. Mm-hmm. That Stig's way of saying he likes me.
Yes, darling.
Oh my gosh. Puddin' says Eddie worked at the local theater in the 70s and he ran this movie. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. If you don't know Eddie, was with us with the triple review. He said they played it in the smallest theater because it's cheaper to lease the longer it plays.
My dad worked at a cruise ship in the 70s, and he was in charge of the cinema on the cruise ship. So he was using those, movie, those rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they played Jaws there a lot, and a couple of the Bond movies, and Trinity,
Oh yeah.
fist fighting Western, which is awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, good stuff. Yeah, and of course, where Puddin' lives, it's a smaller town, so I can just imagine that. Alien trailer is still the best trailer of all time, says Corporeal Life Form. Mm-hmm. Jacob Ironside is here. Love this movie. Yes, the perfect movie. Oh, oh my God, Stig's dad was Isaac from The Love Boat. Wow. Well,
yeah, I'm black, I tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying good afternoon to each other. Well, and part of the reason why I say that this is the perfect movie is what I already talked about at the beginning of the stream. Every moment had you on the edge of your seat, even after 50 years and having seen it, I don't know how many times. It's so good. There is not 1 second that is not perfection in this movie. I mean, unless you can think of something, Stig, I can't.
Well, the jowls on the shark looks fake. But that's about it.
Yeah, but that's like a technical thing,
Yeah.
It's not the movie, and you forgive some of that stuff because it was so scary. And of course, they did use footage from real sharks.
Well, you can't really blame an older movie for not having the special effects we have today.
Yeah,
it wasn't invented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And the guy that they got for it, they have a Jaws 50 documentary. The guy that they got to make it, he did a lot of classic monster movie things back in the day, like in the 50s, and so they really did the best they could. Hit the like button, like Brody did the air tank at the end. Yeah. Oh dear. You know what, Maury? Save that. Eddie also has an Exorcist story because maybe we might do some horror things.
I hope that story doesn't involve a girl and a crucifix.
Oh dear. I'll tell you what, I still can't imagine. I don't think they would be able to get away with that today. And
no, someone did like those Tinder match things.
Oh no.
They're taking a picture of the girl from The Exorcist and then a crucifix and it said match.
Wow. Oh dear. Well,
it was funny because it was wrong.
Yeah. Well, everything was wrong. Oh my gosh, yeah, in the chat. Yeah, since you've apparently been race swapped, Steve. I don't know if you are aware of that, but I want to go through some of the things. I did
Sure.
prepare a slideshow, but I
I
wasn't
can
able
get
to get it ready because I had to work
I
this
can get
morning.
reparations from Salty Texan then.
Ooh, do it. Maybe he
Yeah.
can give you some of those things he got at the convention that we were talking yesterday in Catholic Spanning about being envious of. But yeah, I
$5.
wasn't.
$5 and he's off the hook
Oh my.
for all the things he never did that his ancestors probably never did either.
Yeah, none of us did. Well, speaking of things that are not part of that, and yes, my messages are saved. You can see the kind of things I look up. I look up a bunch of things about the royals, etc. But this is an account called like the Daily Jaws that I just discovered, and I love it. It's
Well, they have a YouTube channel.
oh
It was last year or the year before. Jaws 2 had an anniversary, and they had interviews with the whole damn cast
oh my
up,
gosh.
up to the anniversary date, and the director and everything.
Ooh, well, cool. Well, maybe I need to look into. I definitely need to look into that. Yeah, but Brody me myself at the end out of his element. Oh yeah, and I want to talk about that. For we received orders to sail for Boston, but we hope in a short time to see you again. Yes. Oh, Pittentame's story is Exodus story involves a dog and popcorn boxes. Oh my goodness. Nope. Speaking of those floppies, yeah, we're gonna get it. And Jacob says, Steve, you better switch your avatar pic to Mace Windu. Oh no, oh gosh.
No, I
Well,
wouldn't do that. I'd use O.J. Simpson.
oh dear. Oh dear me. All right, so here we go. We have, of course, the man who kind of steals the entire movie. That he is the man haunted by the USS Indianapolis. And speaking of which, because I used to live there, they had a monument that they finally unveiled, and survivors would hang out there. And my brother worked downtown, and he would go and talk with them about it. And he got a book from them that they signed. People that survived this shark, and they told him all these stories. And I wish, of course, nowadays if we'd had cell phones, we could have recorded it. But he is the man who it's like a personal thing. It's like his demons. And in many ways, this is not a story about a shark. This is a story about people and facing, I think, their demons. Like that the shark is a metaphor for some of it. Like when you start at the beginning, you have Brody, who is from New York on the small island. He doesn't fit in. Everyone gives him a hard time. And there's that scene with that Karen who tells Brody's wife, "Oh, you can never, Ellen, you can never be an islander. You have to be born here." And he hates the water. At the beginning of it, you see him, he doesn't ever really get in it. I think the first time he touches water in the movie is when he's telling everyone to get out of the water when the Kittner boy is being attacked, and he's like, get out of the water, but he's only an ankle deep. And then as it goes further, it gets more personal. And then his son has the situation where he's in shock, and then he's on the boat wearing his life jacket. And slowly but surely, he's the only one that's kind of left, and he's getting hardened. And there's this scene right before Hooper goes into the cage where what's his name? Quint comes out with some life jackets because they weren't wearing their life jackets. And they just look at it and they're like, no, he didn't want to put on the life jacket. And of course, by the end, he's alone. And the ship is sinking. He's sliding, and the whole smile, you son of a bitch, and boom. And then he just screams. And at the end, he says, I used to hate the water. 2 thumbs up. I mean, 2 thumbs up for Brody. I could rant forever about him.
I'm gonna post some stuff on Twitter so you can share it.
Okay.
It's a horrific deleted scene.
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about. Yes. Let me not kill my cat, but he's trying to interfere. Okay. So yes, this is an epic scene. Let me see. What do we have here? Yes. The Mayflower money, New England wasps. Yeah, why don't Anglo-Saxon Protestants were a thing when this movie was made? Absolutely. Frankly, I think kind of it still is. The snobbiest people on the planet are people out there at places like Martha's Vineyard and the like. We know we've seen that. I love the scene with him and his son. Oh, hell yeah. I think that's what Stieg is bringing up here. So let me see. I'm actually going to stop sharing while Stieg is getting that ready. And of course, we will be talking in great detail about the iconic scene with Quint doing his USS Indianapolis speech. When I was a kid, the first time I saw it, I was about 6 or 5 or 6 because it was on HBO, I think. And I always thought that was the most boring part. You know, we got on VHS when we were in Ireland and we'd watch it and it'd be like, what's he on about? What's he on about? And as I got to be a teenager, I started realizing it. And that became, to me, the highlight of the movie. And when we were watching it in the cinema, you could have heard a pin drop when he was doing his monologue about the USS Indianapolis. Do you have that ready, Steve? Can I?
Yeah, I tweeted it out.
Okay, let me go to your
I can
account.
put the link in the private chat.
Oh, whoops. Okay, my fault.
Yeah, it was your fault. It wasn't mine.
Yeah, deleted piece of the pond attack and jog. Extra horrific stuff. Here we go. The pond. Oh, gosh.
I can tell you exactly what's happening there, too. And you see pieces of it in the movie.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go share it. But before I do, that part where they have those stupid kids doing the prank, and then that girl sees him in the pond, and at first it's like she can't speak. It's like you're living a nightmare. There's 2 scenes where you're living a nightmare, and she's like, shut. She can't even get out the word, you know. Shut. And then finally, it's like, there's a shark in the thing, and then Brody's like, oh my gosh, what is this now? He thought it was another prank, and then Ellen just goes, you know, Michael's in the pond, and then you see him kind of start to move. Then you see him start to run, and then they jump over that bridge. So here we go. In that context, get ready for this, kids. If you haven't seen this.
Yeah, see this? This is Michael clinging to the Boy Scout guy.
Yeah.
What happened, and they cut this because it was too graphic. Because, Michael falls in, and he's in the water. And you see a shot where, something's coming towards him, right?
Yep.
Then this happens. He gets stuck on the Boy Scout leader guy because the shark actually hits Michael. Tries to eat him with the Boy Scout guy, I guess. And the Boy Scout guy kind of lifts him up and then pushes him aside to save him. That's his last act in life. And that's why Michael is in shock.
Oh, you're right. And that's why he's kind of, he's to the side and you see it. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see the next. There's more than one.
He basically pushes him to the side. You see? And this is after Michael has been pushed aside. And this, the shark just swims and just pulls the guy under.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is really horrific.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they cut it because I think it's more effective where you just see the shock on his face and you know that the shark is passing by and you can imagine what you're seeing, the imagination.
Oh, well, you can actually see that stuff is cut in the movie because you see the shark bite the guy and then the foot sinks, right? The shark drags him under and bites his foot off, right?
Yeah.
Next shot you see from the shore, you hear him screaming. So he's suddenly no longer underwater again. And that's when the swimming happens, when he swims right at Michael. So you could see that stuff has been cut.
Yeah. And I like that they did because they also had one with Alex getting where you see the shark literally biting him. But of course, it's far more scary where you just kind of see the fins knocking him out of the way. And they're like, did you see that? Did you see that? And then the way it zooms in on Brody, like it's his nightmare coming true. Oh, and then it becomes your nightmare. I mean, even Spielberg was 27 when he made this. It's not fair. I mean, my gosh. And he even said at the end of that documentary that this movie made everything for him. Like he said, he got first cut of any film he wanted for the rest of his life because of Jaws.
Yeah.
Oh, Salty Traveling Sea says in the book, I think Michael got a huge abrasion for the shark passing him due to its abrasive skin. That makes sense. Yeah.
That actually makes a comeback in Jaws 2.
Mm. Oh,
Where
yeah.
it happens to one of the girls at the end when they're swimming to that little cable junction. That's what it's called.
You're right. Yes.
She gets scraped by the shark.
Mm. Your Barmy says the sound travels very slow over water. That's true. The screams. I want that Lego kit, but damn, it's money. Oh, are you talking about the one on Amazon? I might say to my family, I don't want anything for Christmas but this. All of you just chip in some money and get me that Lego set. It is so awesome.
Then you can put the orca in the bathtub.
Oh, well, not it because it's the sinking version. Maybe I'll bring up the picture of it. It's amazing. What does Maury say? My first watch was August 1979 on HBO. You see, that was me too. At my aunt's house, I was 6, and the scariest thing for me was Mr. Gardner's head popping out of the boat. I love sharks because of Jaws. Oh, hell yeah. That I think is still the scariest part because it's so eerie. Hooper.
August 79. I was pissing and pooping at that time.
Yeah, you were 2 months old.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh.
More than 2.
Yeah. It says May. Oh wait, May 4. Never mind. Yeah, my math is off. Hell yes, Generation X. We're made to sturdier stuff after all that. Hell yeah. I cannot believe how they showed Alex coming up out of the water with that blood spurting everywhere. I mean, that is still one of the scariest images in that movie. And
it's also that zooming effect they do on Brody.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it was like it was this nightmare. Yeah, like where it goes zoom, and he like can't move for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, when you see what's out there and chewing people up, and the only way to help is to run into the water and help people. So it's like, yeah, probably not that appealing.
Yeah, get out of the water. Yeah, Generation X is the best. It is. Biggles, you will go to hell or a long time in purgatory if you do not go see this movie. Go see it in the cinema. Never seen Jaws.
Yeah, go watch it.
Yep. I am pronouncing judgment upon you, even though I'm not supposed to. Go see this movie.
If you don't watch it, Jacob Ironside is going to get it.
Oh gosh, no. Salty Traveling saying Namori, smallest generation in American history, yet we keep things working behind the scenes for almost everything. Damn right. Well, I personally have never had a shark encounter, but my family has. Where my folks live just a few years ago, it was a black tip shark, and there are sharks all over the place where I swim in Florida. However, I never go deeper than my knees or my waist, and because it's also dangerous because of the riptides. But yeah, it is not uncommon to see sharks out there, and for the most part, sharks will not bother you. They're usually just minding their own business, and they're tasting you when they attack. Like every now and then there'll be a bite here and there, and they'll just go, oh, I don't like that, and go away because they don't like to eat humans. I know Maury has a story about a baby shark near where she lives, where they saw, oh, cute little baby hammerhead shark. And then I'm telling your story, Maury. I hope that's okay. And then they went, wait, baby shark?
Yeah.
That means mama shark.
Also, the hammerhead sharks are one of the most aggressive ones.
Yeah, so they got out of the water after that. It's like, wait a second, mama shark is near. Nerdportal said, millennials are ass. I know, I'm one of them. Oh, dear. I might go see it. You will go see it.
Yeah, do it. It's worth every penny.
Dax, Jaws may have been my first cinematic boob experience. Oh yeah, when Chrissy, even though it was in silhouette, when she's throwing off her clothes. Yeah. Speaking of which, that scene, and it's one of the best openings in movie history. I mean, really. She's just out there swimming. It's all quiet. The guy's like all drunk, and she's like, come in the water. And you see it from the shark's point of view coming up to her. And then at first it just tugs her. And then you see her kind of, and then she goes, you can see that the shark has got her and is moving her, and then it's just quiet.
That scene is really well written in the book. It is
Mm-hmm.
graphic as heck.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, I just got that far in the Audible. Maury says, "Yes, I was talking about the baby hammerheart at baby hammer the other day. Yes, I get horrified when I think about that. Yes, it's something." Jacob Barnes said, "The summer I watched Jaws, I went on vacation and had the same color float as a kid that gets eaten. Oh no, the yellow one. Well, I think we all had a yellow float like that. Oh my gosh."
You know,
Um,
I probably watched it when I was 8 or 9 or something.
mm-hmm,
But you've seen where I grew up.
mm-hmm.
It looks like the damn island
Yes.
in Jaws. And
Yeah.
heck, when I was watching Jaws, a lot of the side characters, and even Quint looked exactly and sounded like my friend's dad. So it was very immersive because it looked like it could have been filmed just down the coast. But then I spent a lot of time in a small boat fishing at that age. So it's kind of like me and my friends were kind of like keeping an eye on what's below the boat when we were fishing because
Oh,
we've seen Jaws. Was a movement over there.
wow.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah. No, thank you.
affected by the movie.
Oh yeah. Well, some traveler, he says there's a girl who went missing, was deleted by a serial killer that was an extra during the ferry docking scene. Oh my gosh, young pretty brunette in a headscarf. Yeah. Oh yeah, headscarves were a thing back then. Abby and I were actually too far out. We were waist deep. Oh man, girl. Yeah. And you can tell who are the natives and who are the people that want to drown, because they always try to go out like, oh, I'm going to swim out far out. And the lifeguards start to whistle because, dude, you're going to drown. And people do, they drown all the time, out of towners. And I'm like, just obey the signs, you idiots. Yeah. And waist deep is pretty far out in some of those places. So, yes, be careful, kids. But in any case, all right, we got that. So that opening scene, and then after she's eaten, the way it just goes quiet, and like no one could have been there. It was done, and you, there's, and just thinking about it again, it's just really scary. And the lady who played Chrissy, she has since passed away, but that was like her for the rest of her life.
Well, she can't have passed away too long ago, though.
No, it's relatively recent. Let me see, because I think they had it on this here. So, um, yeah, she is definitely epic. And I also like the way that it looks so natural. Like, especially if you grew up in the 70s, it that was the way it was. If you went to the beach, every single person looked like they did. And we know that they used extras. They used locals for the actors. We're going to talk about that in a second. But all my 70s pictures of us at the beach with my family. My mom had a thing like Ellen, where she had like the strapless black thing and the big hat, big sunglasses. That's the way people looked. They were natural. The family was natural. People were fat. People were thin. People were pasty white. It's just the way people look when they go to the beach. And I think that added to the terror. Like that could have been us. That could be anybody on your vacation.
Yeah.
And yes, they did use locals. Like the main characters were Hollywood, but even I think the Karen, I forget what her name is, the one who's like, "Are you gonna close the beaches?"
Yeah, she's the hotel owner
Mm-hmm.
um, in the movie.
Mm. Yeah, and I get it. I get it, and I get the mayor and his dilemma, because he was all, "Hey, this is our livelihood, that if we close down the beaches on the 4th of July, we're gonna we're gonna be on, what do you say, welfare for the summer." Speaking of which, let's bring him up. He's
She's
here.
She's named Mrs. Taft.
Mrs. Taft. Okay, yeah, I never know her name. She's just so annoying. And
Well, basically, the way you could look at this movie is a disaster movie. The shark being the disaster that's threatening to destroy the community or the little island community.
mm, yeah,
Because if the shark keeps doing what it's doing, that whole, like they said, they're going to be on welfare the whole winter, and the whole community is definitely going to suffer. So it's shark is nature, so it's a natural disaster that's actually happening. Because
yeah,
the shark isn't evil.
no,
The shark is swimming around and eating. That's all, like they say in the movie. It's all it does. So
yeah.
it's not eating people because it's evil. It's just
We're
that's
in
just what
their
it is.
feeding territory.
Yeah.
It would be like us randomly crashing someone else's Thanksgiving dinner in their dining room. That's what we're doing when we're in the water. Zach says, "Is there another movie that impacted psyche like Jaws? Maybe it's not in a movie. Maybe Orson Welles' The War of the Worlds. Yeah, that. But I still think that Jaws is more. Even to this day, students in orchestra, like we're talking 10-year-olds, they will want someone to play Jaws. It's like, can you play Jaws on this? And it's just two notes. Oh man.
Well,
Um,
I think maybe if you're religious, The Exorcist might have had a similar impact. Maybe.
yeah, it had a pretty big, yeah, it did have a pretty big impact, but I still think Jaws was bigger because
Yeah.
when you go to the beach even today, there's stuff with Jaws, there's sharks, there's there's stuffed sharks you can get. And because of that stupid, was it Live and Let Die? Was that the James Bond movie where they released the sharks into the pool? It was the Roger Moore one. Because of
No,
that, no, which one was that?
yeah, that was Thunderball
Thunderball. Okay.
with Connery.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
No, wait a minute. Well, no,
Well,
it was they had a spy who loved me. That one had they dropped a they them into the pool, and they them got eaten.
yeah. Because of that stupid scene and because of Jaws, when I was in a friggin' swimming pool, I would be always not. Oh, I just didn't want to look at the deep end. And even to this day, when I go out in the ocean, I will never turn my back to the water behind me. You will always go forward. And if you have to walk in, you kind of walk backwards. You just don't know. And oh my gosh. I mean, this guy gave a 10 out of a 10 performance. I thought he was great. And the scene where he is in shock, if you will, a little bit when the scene happens with Michael and he can barely speak. He's just kind of muttering. It's like, I just kind of tried to do the best I can. He's kind of got a cigarette. And Brody is so good in that scene because he doesn't judge him. He's just like, yes, yes. And that's why you're going to do the right thing. You're going to do the right thing. And you're going to sign this. And he's like, sign this, sign this. And then, he signs it because he's genuinely not a villain. He just didn't want to destroy the island community. And he didn't have proof because he kept saying things like she could have gotten hit by a boat. And
Which is viable.
It is. And they thought they had caught the shark. And when Hooper was telling him, well, we saw this and we found the shark tooth, and he's like, do you have it? And it's like, oh no, I dropped it. And it's like, well, okay, maybe he.
As soon as they have solid proof, the mayor immediately does the right thing.
Yeah.
But the mayor gets redeemed in the deleted scenes in Jaws too, because the city council votes for Brody to be fired, and the mayor is the only one who votes no. He defends Brody.
Yeah.
They should have kept that in the movie.
I agree. Moreover, he really redeems himself in our D&D / I guess not 80s 90s game where we had a Jaws 3, our own version of Jaws 3, and he does a great job. And that was one of the best role-playing sessions we did, in my humble opinion. So good. And Mara got to punch the Karen in the face. That was nice. Yeah, her character did. That was good times. All right. Salty Traveling Sea says, in the book, I think the mayor owes the mob money, so he can't close the beaches or get hurt whacked. Oh, yeah. I remember there was a mob thing. I heard that. Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that storyline being cut, though, because it actually doesn't go anywhere in the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a background thing.
Yeah. And also the affair with Hooper, because one of the themes is home. I didn't even catch this till I was watching the documentary. How many times it's like, can we go home now, with the guys who went out on the dock and the shark came in to get him and show me the way to go home. They're singing that. Ellen's like, home to New York. And at the end, where do they end up? They paddle home. And if Ellen had had an affair and their marriage was breaking up, I think that might have impacted the theme. Yeah. Psycho. I would agree. Yeah, Psycho. Yeah, taking a shower is still to this day something that's pretty freaking scary. And that person come behind, Salty Traveling Sea. It was in both Thunderball and in Live and Let Die. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind in the chat.
It's actually in a surprisingly large amount of Bond movies. Sharks.
Yep, there we go. That's what Puddin' Tame is saying. Oh, you made Jacob Ironside made a Lego Jaws stop motion picture movie with Salsa for Blood. Wow, that's fun. Felix gets fed to the shark by Robert Davey, right? Salty Traveling Sea. Oh,
yeah, it did.
Yeah. Wow. The mayor is the true villain. Oh, interesting. Well, is he the villain, or is the bureaucracy or the politician, the system, the villain? Because he does do the right thing when he can.
I'm thinking he's more of a liability that worsens the situation, because it's easy to judge the guy, but he doesn't know what we know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Wait, Salty blocks out the Dalton movies?
Uh-oh. There's going to be judgment coming.
Timothy Dalton is technically the best Bond because his performance is based entirely on the novels. So he's the source material.
The three most perfect casts, and they're saying that here. Can you imagine this movie without them? And the chemistry, the hatred between Quint and Hooper, and when he flips him off and is like, blah, 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 blah. It's so mad at him.
Well, if they had made it today, there would be Hooper. Hooper would have been race and gender swapped, so that people would know that colored people can be smart too.
Oh, they call it people of color now. We're not supposed to.
Oh.
It's all right. I think it's so confusing, but I know what you mean. They would have the woman doing more.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, this is a funny. I laughed really hard at this. She's stepping on a Lego. We can all relate.
You know what's worse than stepping on a Lego? Stepping on a D4 for D&D.
Oh, yes, because it's a perfect pyramid.
Yeah.
The beaches are open and people are having a wonderful time. I can't. It's great. Yeah, that screaming woman, the helicopter. Look at the terror in this woman's face.
that woman who's grabbing the kid and just standing there screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Worst mom ever.
Yeah.
She's literally keeping her kid within reach of the shark.
Yeah. Maybe she was gonna do like in Snakes on a Plane and toss the kid to the shark and run.
Yeah. Instead, she's just standing there looking from side to side.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come back to Quint. This scene has a lot of tension in it. He gets a little like creak on his fishing thing, and then he takes his feet, puts it on the little paddle. He puts on his little seatbelt thing and moves the whatever. I mean, that's one hell of a fishing rod.
I think it's what they use to catch swordfish with.
Yeah. Yeah. And then every moment. And then it's like, hey, I got it. And it goes, zee, 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 zee. And he's like, I've got something very big. Let's see. Yes, Salty Traveling Sea. Brian and I met Robert Daby yesterday. Very, very cool dude. I know. I am so bitter. You have no idea how bitter I am. I'm trying not to be envious. I don't want to break the 10 Commandments and all that. But oh my gosh, the fact that you got to meet him. He was supposed to be at a convention that I went to, but he had to cancel. But yeah, he's great. And he's actually, if you will, a correct thinker. He's his own man. They're talking about Dalton. They originally wanted Dalton to succeed Connor. He was too young at the time, so they chose Moore. That's very possible. Moore's perfect, though. I mean, Moore is not James Bond, in my humble opinion, especially physically, but he is amazing. Yeah. Maury's right. You can't take a shower because a maniac might slash you, and you can't take a bath because there might be a shark in the tub. Yeah, there was even someone on the documentary that talked about that, and that is true. You thought the shark was going to jump in and get you. Salty Traveling Sea. In retrospect, Dalton is a great Bond. At the time, his two movies were not that good. Time has changed my opinion as well as the trash from Craig. Yeah, it's the way I, in many ways, look at The Hobbit, except that it's suddenly a great movie because of the Rings of Prime. However, the Dalton movies are genuinely good, in my humble opinion.
Well,
and I love
the thing about the Dalton movies is, well, especially License to Kill, was 2 decades ahead of its time because I think that was the first Bond movie that was kind of R-rated, because License to Kill is graphic as heck. That's a very violent movie, and I think that the audience wasn't ready for it because they were used to the goofball Roger Moore stuff. You know, so all of a sudden something PG-13 in a way and kind of family friendly, goes full R-rated.
Let's see, I've got some more down here that I saved. Oh yeah, Hooper was so good. Oh, would you do this? I don't know. I couldn't.
Actually, if I was alone, yeah, but not with a bunch of, noisy twats.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't be on the water. Can you imagine trying to watch this? Oh man. Oh, it's PG-13. Oh, okay, yeah, here in America, yeah, because that's the in between. Oh, the first Dalton movie was way too influenced by Miami Vice. Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. I would not. Let's see.
Miami Vice is getting a movie, kind of like Top Gun Maverick. They have the two main characters reuniting after 40 years.
Oh, that.
Yeah. And it's the Top Gun Maverick director that's doing it.
Well. The greatest film review ever. The tragic story of a bunch of alcoholics who hunt down and murder a fish for the crime of being really hungry. There's a lot of truth in that. A lot of truth. See, is that the end of that? Because I think the next one. Oh, yeah, that's a thing for Matt Letitia. Yeah, he's a good guy. All right. Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell. Oh my.
Yeah, they did a movie.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Salty Traveling Sea says, I saw Jaws at a drive-in movie theater. We have several of them out here, and the screams from people, safety in cars was incredible. Absolutely. Okay, yeah, we got that. Michael Mann.
Well, this new one is supposed to be a continuation, in a way, of the show with the original actors.
Oh, yeah, so this will be different. So it'll probably be much better.
Hope
all right.
So.
I have here something that Steve gave me showing the different sharks from the different movies and their sizes. So let's talk about Bruce. Bruce was, of course, the name of the first shark, but here we go. So in the original Jaws, it was what 20 feet, and then it got bigger and bigger, and then by Jaws: The Revenge, it got ridiculous.
Well, it was in the novel it was 20 feet. In the movie it was 25.
Ah, oh, okay, and that's what the comparison that they're showing there. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And Jaws 3 3D. Oh my gosh! Here, I'm gonna stop sharing this and read some stuff here. Let's see, because I'm just not sure about these ads that pop up. It says Jaws the novel 20 feet, 2.5 tons. Jaws the film 25 feet long, male 4.9 tons. Jaws 2 the novel 30 feet long, female 8.5 tons. Jaws 2 the film 25 feet long, female. Practical model is male, but assuming the novel is canon, it's a female, 4.9 tons. Jaws 3D, 35 feet long, female, 13.5 tons. Jaws the Revenge novel, 28 feet long, male, 6.9 tons. Jaws Revenge film, 25 feet long, male, 4.9 tons. Yeah, Jaws the Revenge had issues, but in a way, I view it with affection. Like, it's so bad, it's good. They showed the preview for Jaws 4 in the cinema. They were showing all the Jaws previews, and they showed the Orca preview too. They were showing all those 70s disaster movies. And when they got to the part of this time it's personal, we all burst out laughing. So it was magnificent in a horrible way.
Jaws 4 has one cool scene, and it's the shark chase through the wreck.
I agree.
That was a good scene, but that's a weird movie. It's definitely a guilty pleasure movie, isn't it? Because I know a lot of people rewatch it because they watch all 4, even though they know 3 and 4 is really rotten. They still watch all of them.
Yep. Talk Travel and See. I also saw Jaws 3D in a packed theater with the glasses. The novelty of it was really cool. I knew the movie was kind of shit too. We all did, even though I was about 10, if it was 1984, but we wanted to see the 3D. But yeah, it's pretty bad.
I had it on, I bought it on VHS thinking, since it has a higher number, that means it's going to be better. Because that's how kids think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jaws 3, that's like 2 numbers higher than 1. It has to be better. It wasn't.
Nope.
But that one has a good, it has really good music in it.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, Dennis Quaid has admitted he was coked out of his mind the whole movie. And he says you can literally tell in the scenes. You can see it in his eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it still had some good bits. Everything 3D in it is horrible, but having a shark get into SeaWorld like that, okay, the cool concept, right?
Yeah. Well, anytime you do that in places where we go. Now, I go to SeaWorld, but I never actually go in the water for obvious reasons, because the people that do are the stunt people. But yes, I can definitely imagine that, and that makes it kind of scary. Jaws 3D was the first movie I saw with my parents on cable, says the Nordpoil Life Form. First Jaws movie, rather. Yes. Okay.
I thought, in Jaws 3, Simon McCorkindale stole the show, being that obnoxious photographer guy.
Yes.
I thought he was really good in it.
Yeah. Okay, a little bit of a shout out here. We've already talked about this, about the music. If John Williams hadn't done the music, this movie would not have been what it was. I mean, very much like Star Wars. It's the same way.
Yeah. And Superman.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, yeah, anything he's done, but
imagine the first 2 Superman movies without the Superman theme.
No, it wouldn't. And just 2 simple notes. It's a half step. And any instrument you play, but if you know someone who plays the cello or someone that plays the bass, just tell them to take any open string and play the open string and half position, half step. You've got Jaws. It's terrifying. Now, there is something I saw in an interview with John Williams where someone pointed out that sounds a lot like the third movement of Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. And I'm like, F my life, because now I can't unhear it. And he said, yeah, I can see that. Of course, a lot of John Williams music, well, all music, it's hard to, there's only so many notes on the keyboard, as Andrew Lloyd Webber says. But yes, definitely there is some of that there. But it's the execution of it and the way he can just take a half step and terrify you. Let's see. Maury says Jaws 3D was awesome in the theater. I did not like that it was set at SeaWorld since we vacation there. Exactly. Todd Travis, he says the Jaws theme is literally the co-star of the film. Yep, absolutely. Without that soundtrack, the movie would not be nearly as good. Nope, not at all.
Absolutely true. And it goes to show how it's easy for people to kind of overlook the people who make the music, because because movies are visual, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the music is almost like secondary. It's just feeding you constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really it's not the main focus of the movie watcher, is it?
Yeah, but without it, you would notice it.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you want to see some really good music, I mean, for crying out loud, just go to it. Any symphony. And most towns have a symphony or even a string quartet. There's nothing like live orchestral music. If you are lucky enough, if you have a symphony that shows movies where they play the score live, do it. I would kill to get to see it with Jaws. I've been looking. So far, they haven't done it, but can you imagine? Hey, I'm a photographer, and my name Jacob, says Jacob outside. Are you calling me? I'm Dr. Sting. Well, not unless you were in Jaws 2.
3.
3, rather. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, I'm a person and my name's Anakin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Let's see. What else? Oh, here's a little blast from the past. And again, one of the most terrifying parts of the movie, in my humble opinion, and especially as a kid, traumatizing me. Yeah. This is the actor who played Alex Kintner and posing with his picture. Right? I mean, can you imagine? Well, the horror of any parent where your child is like, oh, he's like, come on, just 5 more minutes. Or if he had done that, he would still be alive. He would still be with us, with the planet. And when she smacks Brody and it's like, you knew, and my son is dead. I wanted you to know that. And the mayor goes, she's wrong. And he goes, no, she's not. The pain of it all. Well, they're sitting there celebrating that they caught the shark. And then he's like, oh gosh, when the mayor's like, I'm not going to sit there and see that kid spread out all over the deck, because they wanted to open up the shark to make sure that he was there. And then later they decide to do it. And the wife is like, can you do that? He's like, of course I can. I'm the chief of police, while he's getting drunk because he has the wine and he has his glass from dinner. Hooper comes in. Are you eating that? And she's like, Ellen's like, oh, no, I guess. And he just starts eating the food. And then Brody fills it up to the brim, a big iced tea glass, and just chugs the red wine. And then they go out to open up the shark.
Salty's asking if it was Sean Connery who was first offered the part of Quint. It wasn't. It was Lee Marvin.
Oh.
Yeah, and Lee Marvin, I think it was Lee Marvin, he said no.
Well, I love Lee Marvin, but I'm really glad he said no. But yeah, I'm not going to, here it is. I'm not going to watch that little kids or boys guts spill out all over the dock.
Yeah, and then the mom's suddenly there.
Exactly. It's like, oops. It sobers up the situation pretty quickly. Well, and when they're all going out and hunting the shark and they're throwing out dynamite. Hell, I was doing that in Red Dead Redemption last night. I was doing that to the alligators. And it's just chaos. And they're overloading the boat. And Hooper's like, oh, I just want to tell you, you shouldn't be doing this. And they just laugh him off. And he goes, they're all going to die. Can you imagine Charles Bronson as Quint? Yeah, well, there's a lot of ones we could.
I could.
Yeah.
But, if they hadn't cast
Robert Shaw.
Yeah, at the time, I would have said Oliver Reed. Big 70s name, and he similar actor to Robert Shaw.
Good point. Yeah. Speaking of which, and someone who was drunk often on set, Robert Shaw, he actually wrote or rewrote the monologue for the USS Indianapolis, the highlight, one of the highlights of the movie. And just the way it starts off, where it's really genuinely funny. They're comparing their scars. Brody's like, do I have a scar? And then there's a tattoo that's removed. And he's like, hey, what's that? And, he goes, USS Indianapolis. And suddenly the mood shifts because, of course, Hooper knows all about it. Brody didn't. And then they tell the story. Yeah, good call on Oliver Reed in a real life drunk. Like, yeah, let's drink to each other's legs. And you see these pasty white guys with their legs. But yeah. And apparently, what was it, Steve, that they said in the documentary that they thought it was too long to lecture?
The speech was like 3 or 5 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Shaw, who also was a playwright, sat down with it and reduced it and fixed it up, basically. So the stuff we see in the movie is the stuff that was rewritten and reorganized by Robert Shaw.
Yeah.
He didn't write the speech. A lot of people claim he did. He did not. He edited and fixed it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But still, amazing work. And the delivery. He was nominated for an Oscar, but I don't believe he won it. Should have. He should have won it. It says he was born in 1927, and it's one of the greatest of all time. Absolutely. He died really young. He was only like 50. Early
51.
50s.
He died from a heart attack while jogging.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his son.
Yeah.
In that video, he is so like him.
Yeah. And he's talking about a play that he did about the making of Jaws, which frankly, I would love to see. And if I can't see it, I would love to see maybe a recording. I hope they record and sell it because it looks pretty cool. Yeah, just so haunting. And anyone that you know that was in World War II, well, any war, to be honest, but the whole story of the USS Indianapolis was particularly horrifying because of the whole situation. So 2 thumbs up about that. Let me see. What else do we have? One of my favorite lines that Ellen has. She's like, want to get drunk? Fool around? And that got a big laugh in the cinema. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty friggin' funny. Especially when you consider the few days that Brody had had. And it's just like, yeah, that's pretty awful. And then she's looking at the picture book and the son's in there. And she's like, come on, let him sit in it. He's in the boat and all that. And she's like, he won't even want to go into the water after what happened yesterday. He's like, don't say that. I don't want that. And Brody's kind of starting to chill. And then she sees the picture in the book that he has the shark coming up through the hole, and she's like, "Did you hear your father? You get in here now!" And the Brody's double take is so hilarious. I mean, great acting. Well, and of course, sorry.
The scariest scene I think in the movie is those two guys that are fishing from the dock, and the dock gets torn out, and then the guy gets dragged with it and starts swimming ashore, and then you see the dock turn around and start following him because we know the shark's underneath it.
Yes, and yeah, you don't see it, and he's like, "Just swim, don't look back, just swim."
Yeah, like good advice. I'm sure he didn't think about that. Yeah, swim, sir, swim. You'll get away from it.
Well, and the horror that you feel as he's stuck kind of on that dock thing and being pulled out and out.
You know what he should have done? He should have swum under the dock, because the poles that keep the dock up, the shark wouldn't have been able to get in there.
Well, I guess they tried. I don't know. And then as he's getting up and his feet is kind of slipping, and he's like, "Can we go home now?" Again, the whole theme of home. There went the Christmas. Oh yes, that was funny. Yeah, it's like, "Where'd you get that?" It's like my wife's the whatever
roast.
Yeah, I think it was for the 4th of July one, but yeah, yep. I think the studio exec has had the hots for the actress that played Brody's Rice, which is why she was cast. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, here's a great line. "Stop playing with yourself, Hooper. You know, you knew I needed to get a clear shot." Yes, that was a joke I didn't get as a little girl, and I got it later. And yes, that got a big laugh in the cinema. Just the way they keep needling at each other was so freaking funny. And when he flips them off and everything. Now, we saw in the documentary that, for crying out loud, Steven Spielberg was like traumatized after the whole Jaws experience and had almost PTSD, and it's just like he had heart trouble or something, anxiety. Oh, he had an anxiety attack. That's what it was. And I can get that because it was over budget. He thought he was going to be fired. They had so much trouble with just about everything that went along with it. And they thought it was going to be a big flop, or not flop. That was it. They thought they weren't even going to be able to finish it. Well, that they were just going to be shut down.
A similar thing happened with George Lucas when they made Star Wars. He got hospitalized with hypertension and stuff, and a bit of a similar situation because he also had the studio breathing down his neck constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how many movies do you think studio interference has messed up?
A million.
All they have to do is finance the thing and then shut the fuck up. Let directors do whatever they do, instead of making every movie an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jake was saying the USS Indianapolis is still the largest shark attack in history. I believe this. There's too many captains on this island. $10,000 for me by myself. Oh yeah, the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. The damn mechanical shark Bruce was always broken, so they had to go Hitchcock and infer and not show. Yeah, which turned out to be a great idea.
Yeah.
Something that Spielberg used to pretty good effect in the Jurassic Park, at least the scene with the T-Rex, the way you didn't see it at first and then it was finally revealed. So on a much smaller level, they did that. But yes.
Basically every shot you see of the shark in the movie is when it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It almost never worked. So the only thing they had is what you see in the movie. A lot of the same thing happened with the alien queen in Aliens.
I believe it.
Because that one didn't work well either. So every shot of that creature that you see in the movie, that's all they had.
Yeah. Well, And I can only imagine, because back in the day, I used to direct musicals. Like, I've directed a lot of musicals in my day, and I've been in the pit orchestra for even more. It's incredible stressful, but when you are the director, how many have I directed? I probably directed about 6 or 7 musicals and plays. It is incredibly stressful. You are just stressed the entire time, and I was just working with teenagers, middle school, high school. Nothing even close to the level of what they did here. So I can relate, because you are in charge of everything. And if it goes wrong, it's all your fault. But oh my gosh, such good times. I found a thing. Oh, this is really cute. Let me get this up here. Oh, so many good quotes that Salty Traveling Sea is bringing up. Now, fellas, is that time or the place to perform some kind of half-assed autopsy on a fish? I love it. I just love it so much. All right, check this out. This is for Pippet. For Happy International Dog Day, this is a Jaws account. The real Pippet who plays Pippet in Jaws was born in 1969, but unfortunately died in 1978. Well, for a dog, that's a pretty long life. A plaque was dedicated to Pippet's burial stating, Pippet, the star of Jaws. Yeah, R.I.P. Pippet. Pippet, Pippet. And that's how you knew things are about to go south in that scene. Oh, the other line, that's some bad hat, Harry.
Do you know what Quint's first name is?
Off the top of my head, I certainly do not.
It's Sam.
Sam Quint.
Yeah, because they were gonna have a small scene in Jaws 2 where Brody visits Quint's grave,
Oh,
but they cut it because they felt it didn't really work, and it probably didn't.
no.
Why would Brody go visit him? It didn't like him.
Yeah, it was self-indulgent. I mean, it's kind of awful, though, that he spent his whole life kind of conquering the demons from the USS Indianapolis, only at the end to finally be killed by a shark. I mean, when he's screaming and trying to kick at that shark, you really feel it. It's like, damn, after he's gone through all of that, now he's gonna be eaten by a shark. It's like, damn, that really sucks. I mean, come on, people. But it's kind of.
They should have had a scene of when, because Hooper's down at the bottom. He should have been looking up and seeing chunks of Quint fall downwards towards him.
Oh. Well. Yeah. Oh,
because it was directly below.
Yeah.
That would have been sick, actually, because he would have seen from below the shark jump onto the boat and stuff like that. And he would have also seen the shark when it swims through the side of the boat when Brody tosses the tank into its mouth.
Yeah.
And the water isn't that deep there either.
No, they're just offshore.
Yeah. So Hooper would have had a sick view.
Nowadays, Hooper would have been, let me get my phone out. Let me film it. Because so many people film things and stand by and watch.
I'm going to live stream it.
Yeah. Salty Traveling Sea says, I saw Quint as an Ahab-like character consumed by survival guilt and need for revenge. Absolutely. Yes. He was a modern day Ahab.
Hell yes. And it's even more clear so in the novel. Because in the novel, he dies more like Ahab. He gets dragged down with the shark, kind of. And I think it's the line or something from the harpoon or something like that he gets tangled up in and gets dragged down, something like that.
You're symbolic. Well, but it is horrifying, that scene, because when finally the shark bites down on him and he screams and then gets to like his heart and the blood spurts out of his mouth. I mean, that is genuine horror. And you
Yeah.
see the pain on his face. It's just awful. Just absolutely awful. But good
I
horror.
I I truly don't understand why the novel was a bestseller, because this is a case of the movie being better than the novel by a
Mm,
mile.
I would
You know,
agree. Well, I could see how this you're minding your business, you're in the 70s, and did they really ever have a book like that? And it was like a quick read. I don't know. I'd be interested. Maybe I'll ask my folks if they read the book. Like me and my dad. Did you read the book before it came out? Yeah, here I want to bring this up. Yeah. Oh, and Jacob was also talking about what's it during World War II? Hundreds of Japanese soldiers retreated into a swamp that was full of saltwater crocodiles. Ooh, yeah,
yeah, saltwater crocodiles are they're huge
yeah,
and extremely aggressive.
yeah. Out of 900 men, only 20 survived. Damn. Well, here, let me bring this. This is my new favorite account. Let me bring this up. This is pictures of the real dudes from the USS Indianapolis, and it has a quote: "1,100 men went into the water," and this was July 30th. 80 years ago today, the USS Indianapolis was sunk by a Japanese submarine shortly after delivering parts for the atomic bomb. Little boy to Tinian Island, I believe. The ship sank in just 12 minutes in the Philippine Sea. Yeah, here is the crew. And then, yeah, there's the ship. And here is, yeah, Quint being haunted, talking
Uh,
about it.
Spielberg was considering making an Indianapolis movie at one
Mm,
point, and he was gonna have one of the characters be a young Quint.
that actually would have been amazing. Or
Yeah,
actually, it would have been awful.
it wasn't the main character though. It was kind of
Yeah.
like a side character, but it never happened. And I think the reason he didn't want to do it because he would have to do ocean shoots again.
Mm, I would agree. Now they did do a USS Indianapolis TV movie with that guy from the redheaded dude who was in that cop movie. I forget what it was called. But yeah, but check this out. Of the 1,195 crew members, 300 went down with the ship. 900 were adrift in the ocean with little food, water, or protection. For the next 4 days, many died from exposure, dehydration, and shark attacks. Only 316 survived, one of the worst naval disasters in U.S. history. And as they said, because it was so secret, as Quint said, they didn't, get rescued. They didn't know, and they got lucky. Whew, boy. And speaking of which, one of my favorite lines, and again, that I didn't get when I was a kid, here's to swimming with bow-legged women. It's like, wow. Yeah. And Jacob Ironside, slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down here and chum some of this shit. Yeah, and then boom, that's the first really good shot we get of the shark. And he just backs up and he's got the cigarette dangling out of his mouth and says the line, "You're going to need a bigger boat." Mm, my gosh. I also love when he loses it, Brody, when he's trying to call for backup and help, and Quint comes in with the baseball bat like a madman and just starts swinging at it, and then he just loses his shit and is like, "That's great. That's just great. What are we gonna do now? You're certifiable. You know that's certifiable." And he just kind of walks away. I love it. Gosh darn it, I'm gonna have to watch this stupid movie again. Not stupid, it's amazing. Soldier Traveling Sea says, so, pulp paperbacks were huge in the early 70s. They were then what our current form of streaming is now. Yeah, yes, that's what I was thinking. That's why Agatha Christie books were back in the day. Like, you would always read an Agatha Christie book in the summer. Yes, perfect lines. Absolute perfect lines. Well, I'm trying to think at this moment. believe we pretty much covered everything. Stig, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to bring to all our attention?
Um, no, this is easily my favorite movie. This is my number one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Always has been ever since the first time I saw it. And it's probably going to stay that way. But it goes to show that quality in writing is key to you know any movie or novel or TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to the writing, and that's what's gone to hell in the last at least 10 years. It's the writing. That's why people are bashing a lot of new movies because they have really bad writing, and you have movies that don't go together with the other movies of the same series, right?
Yeah.
Because of shit writing. And the Indianapolis speech, which is one of the most iconic TV moment or movie moments in history, is down to writing.
Yeah.
You know,
And a good actor. Good acting.
yeah. Well, it has to be delivered too, but he can't deliver something that good if it isn't written that well.
Exactly.
You know,
No, I agree. Well,
so
and
that's what we're lacking. And quite often when people praise a new movie, okay, this one, you know, this was good, and then they come up with almost with excuses for why it was good, like they're trying to you know justify it, the fact that it's good. But back then you didn't have to,
no.
because everyone saw how brilliant stuff was. And it's they need to hire people that are experts at their jobs, not just
Hell
people
yes.
not just people that fill a quota. you know
Absolutely.
if they had writers that worked on Jaws, and had them do adapt the Wheel of Time books,
Oh,
it
yeah.
would have been a masterpiece. It would have been like the Lord of the Rings movies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We
But
should have been talking about the Wheel of Time the way we were all talking about Game of Thrones.
yeah, and heck, Game of Thrones season 5, 6, and 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
That one went straight to hell because of bad writing.
Yep.
The continuity was broken, the internal lore, all of it. And they had shock moments there just to shock the audience. And sadly, that worked, even though they were just there for the shock value. The writing around it never made any sense.
No.
So it's like it's the instant gratification generation has ruined everything.
Yeah. But, I was part of that generation. I was fooled by Game of Thrones. I started catching on in the 5th season. It's like you could feel something was off.
Yeah,
But
and
by season 7, though, I was like, this is garbage.
that's also why they do the member berries, because you get a few seconds of instant gratification. Oh yeah, I remember that robot from the previous movie 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is so cool. It gave me a good emotion, therefore the movie's good.
Now that can be done well in like Maverick, I think did that well, the sequel to Top Gun, but still it wasn't as good as the original. But that's a good example of it done
And
right and
Cobra
how they
Kai
done it.
did it, I
Oh,
guess.
hell yes. Cobra Kai is still the best that there is, in my humble opinion, as far
Yeah.
as that goes. But
Ash versus Evil Dead did it well too.
Mhm. And this is where I'm getting to what I said on the thumbnail, why it matters. It's a perfect movie. This is why it matters, because we need art. We need great art. That art, I don't know. It's so hard to describe, but there's something almost mystical about art. And if you've never experienced it, for example, if you're minding your own business and go into the Sistine Chapel, my dad still says to this day that that was the most unbelievable thing that he has ever seen. And I would agree. I've seen all that art in the Vatican 1,000 times in pictures, but when I saw it in person, when I saw the Raphael work, when I saw the Pieta, when I saw the Sistine Chapel, you cannot describe it. It's an out-of-body experience. It's the same thing with the symphony. Like, I went to see the New World Symphony performed. How many times have I heard the New World Symphony? How many, you've heard it 1,000 times. They started the first few measures, and I got tears to my eyes. Tears came to my eyes. I went to see Beethoven's Ninth Symphony performed live. I bawled like a baby. And everyone else was too. And we jumped to our feet at the end, like the way they did when it was first performed during Beethoven's day. It's magic. It's absolute magic art. And, we see that with television. We see that with all other forms. And this is going to where it matters and what Salty Traveling Sea. This is a perfect comment. Steig is correct on the writing being the core of good and lasting entertainment. That's why AI will not succeed. The visuals do not matter without the humanity of good writing. Yes, and that's why AI is crap. I mean, you see somebody going with Mozart, for example, and they're like, I'm going to write a symphony like Mozart with AI. It doesn't matter if it's in the style of Mozart, if it's almost exactly like what Mozart would have written. It wasn't written by Mozart. Mozart gave it the spark of the divine. You cannot cure that with AI. I'm sorry, Steve.
Well, AI is a crutch for people who couldn't be bothered learning how to walk.
Mm-hmm.
I see people go, "Oh yeah, I'm an author. I use AI." Like, no, you're not at all, because you're basically just telling the AI to write something for you. So, but you can compare it to, let's say if I call the pizza place and tell them, "Yeah, I want this and this and this on a pizza," that doesn't make me a chef.
Nope.
So whenever I see people claim they're authors or whatever and they use AI, no, they're actually farther from being an author than someone who hasn't written a single word.
Yep, I agree, 1,000%. Going into the cathedrals of Spain was awe-inspiring, says Salty Traveling Sea. The grandeur, the scale. You can't read or see it on a screen to truly appreciate it. No. And as a believer, I'll tell you what, when I was in Paris at Notre Dame, the real Notre Dame before it got burned down by we all know who, to go to Sunday Mass, where they had done it for 800 years. It took, more than 100 years to build those things.
Yeah, and then the Tuscan Raiders arrived and did it.
Well, yeah,
that was clever, and you know it.
I'm trying. Yeah, but the thing is, nothing beats that. I mean, you are going into the past. You are time traveling and touching the divine. And another example would be natural, or I guess it's not art, obviously, because it's the earth. But if you've never seen a glacier, that was one of the top 5 things I've ever seen. I saw a glacier in Iceland for the first time. I went with my friend, the same friend that always gets me sick when I'm on trips, because every time we go on a cruise, she gets COVID or something, gives it to me. But I was just enthralled. I just sat there, and it's like that scene in Jurassic Park when their jaws are dropping. That's what we were doing. And when I went up to Alaska, I saw that. And I can tell you this, Steve, when I see the Northern Lights, I haven't yet, it will be ugly. It will be ugly. I will be ugly crying, and you will be embarrassed. Everyone will be embarrassed, but it doesn't matter.
Why? It's just lights.
Shut up. You're going to make me curse. I've never seen it. And there was a lady in Iceland when I was there at the B&B, and she would wake up people. Like, they would ask to be woken up when the Northern Lights came out. And she said some dude came running out in his underwear because he was like, he had to see it. And she said a grown man was sobbing at seeing the Northern Lights.
No, that's not a man. That's a pansy. It's okay if women cry from it, but not a man. They should have left him out in the snow full of polar bears.
Well, you would die actually if you did that. That's the coldest I've ever been in my life, by the way. I mean, but hell, that's where you live. Well, you're not as bad as that, but you're pretty close. If I, I would be from head to toe all wrapped up. But great show. Later, you all. Salty Traveling Sea says, go to Glacier National Park in Montana. Oh, trust me, or Mount Rainier and get the right at the top of the glacier is incredible. Oh my gosh. I might, because I want to go to Montana. You can take from Texas if you're really ambitious and go along the cattle trail, the same cattle trail starting in north of Bandera in Texas, and they would go all the way up to Ogallala, like they showed in Lonesome Dove up in Nebraska, and you can go all the way to Montana. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get in my car and do that. I just got to quit having disasters in my family. Well, death and sickness and all that, but who knows? This is also why it matters. This is why art matters. Because you never know. Like I had a friend, neighborhood, neighbor, how many years, 20 years, kids all grew up together, and she was gone like that. You never know when your day's going to be your last. So live for today and live for great art. And Jaws is a work of art. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's nothing more that you can say about it. I mean, is it the perfect movie? It is a perfect movie. Why does it matter? It's like because we need art, we need great music. Is it a coincidence, do you think, that what we're seeing right now is a modern version of iconoclasm? It's with our secular culture, but that's just as important to our national identity. Things that are a national identity, our national heroes. Like we had Luke Skywalker, people of our generation, and what did they do? They destroyed him. They destroyed him just as much as if they'd have taken an icon and smashed it.
Well, I can tell you exactly what it is. If you look at how a communist takeover works, they start with destroying a country's heroes and icons. And these days, in this day and age, especially in the US, the icons are fictional characters. Captain America, Indiana Jones, Luke Skywalker, what have you. All of them has systematically been destroyed.
Yeah.
One by one. And it is to demoralize. And then, slap the ist names on the people who protest. It's right in the communist handbook, that sort of stuff. And it's also demonize the flag.
Yeah.
And tear down statues. They're very fond of tearing down statues.
Yeah.
And so the US, I think it was like 5 or 6 phases. I think the US reached 4 before there was a hiccup in their plans when someone got elected that they didn't want to be elected.
Well, yeah, and speaking of statues, not just our national heroes, but the amount of attacks on churches in particular, obviously I'm in that happen all the time where they deface our statues. I remember the first time it happened when I showed up at Mass and someone had taken our statue of Our Lady and just chopped off the head of it and smashed it down. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you always hear about it happening, but you don't think it'll happen where you are. I mean, maybe some of that stuff was like 200, 300 years ago. Like, what did they do to Ireland when the English wanted to subjugate them? Take away your language. They take away your language. This wasn't communism, obviously, but this is how they subjugated people. You take away their language, their culture, their songs, their religion, their shared culture. In many ways, I'm not stupid. I know that people were not necessarily any more holy than they are today, but it definitely was a culture that kept them together. And we see them doing that with other traditional things.
How many times have you seen in the last 5 years that content is being removed or edited because it's problematic?
Yeah. Yeah. And what's another example that was just popping into my head? Something like that. What they're doing with our classic novels. Yeah. Well, for one thing, they're deleting them literally. They're taking out problematic things, but they're also remaking these movies that it's just disgusting. Like what they've done with the Jane Austen ones lately, the last two adaptations. And now there's going to be a horrendous Wuthering Heights coming out. They're going to be desecrating the Chronicles of Narnia. They desecrated the Lord of the Rings. They desecrated the Wheel of Time, and
Well, you know those commandos that destroyed the heavy water plant up in Norway in
yes,
World War II, which prevented Hitler from developing nuclear weapons a couple of years before the U.S. Right? They did a
hmm
TV show about it up here in Norway, and at least three of those commandos were played by Tusken Raiders, so they wouldn't feel left out.
which is absurd because they were real people. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't do that to
they,
historical
they,
people.
we didn't have
You didn't have
those kind of.
diversity. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a diverse place, and but they added characters and whatever, and had immigrants play them, so they wouldn't feel left out of an event they were never a part of to begin with. It's which means they're shitting on the people that were part of that event that sacrificed a lot.
Yeah, real
You know?
people. Real people who faced real Yahtzees, not the ones that imagine that they're facing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they do that with historical figures. Well, didn't they also do something with some World War II Norwegian type characters where they changed one to a woman? It was a video game.
Yeah, it was one of the Battlefield games. It was done by a Swedish developer.
Oh dear.
They had that mission in the game, and they
Yeah.
claimed it was historically accurate. But instead of the commandos, it was a single mom and her daughter that did
Yeah.
everything.
And you're right, that's a dishonor to the real people and, well, your national heroes, and of course, we all know what they're doing to our national heroes here in America. Um, Now the other oh my gosh, the ones that what we've seen what they've been doing with, like, Anne Boleyn. Now, I'm no fan of Anne Boleyn, but I think that she deserves, like everyone else, to be portrayed accurately how she was. We saw that with Cleopatra, and good on, Egypt for pushing back on that, and for their culture being butchered. Your culture, they've done what that woman it was a man, and they changed it to a woman of African descent, and I forget
Yeah,
what it was.
it was a jarl. A jarl is actually a male title, uh, and his name was Håkon, which is a male name. Hell, our crown prince has that name. But lo and behold, on that TV show, it was a black lady with an afro
Yeah, and
playing a
they
Viking.
also changed the person,
They
what
didn't
the
even
person
change the
did.
name. She had the male name.
Yeah, which is
It's retarded.
well, it's like doing it having a woman play George Washington and still calling it George. It's just totally
Yeah, or
incongruent.
having a guy play Queen Elizabeth
Yeah,
and have the character remain, will keep the name Queen Elizabeth,
yeah.
which
Yeah,
that is probably not far from that happening, to be honest.
yeah. Thought T says, that's me. It's 100% correct. I agree with you. Thank you for I'm being silly now. We are dealing with a deliberate removal of archetypes in entertainment. They don't want the kids to know any of that, so they are easier to control. It's called Americanized Marxism. I completely agree with you. Spending 3 days in Portland and seeing the real world impacts on 20 somethings there, I have to say the poisoning of our culture has been sadly stunning successful. I'll tell you what. Yeah.
Well,
I
here's another shocking thing. It's been successful, but it was allowed to be successful. Plus, it happened so fast too.
Mm-hmm.
It only took a few years, really, for well, they probably planned it for longer, but as soon as it kicked in, it worked like a charm.
Yeah. But I think in many ways we were asleep because we just couldn't imagine that it would happen here. But people are waking up. I mean, we see what's going on, obviously, that are people waking up. And I think we're even going to start seeing it a little bit in entertainment. I forget what it was. Darn it, I need to look it up. But there's some show upcoming where there was accurate casting. Let me put it to you that way. And it's like, okay, maybe we might be getting back to that. We'll see.
Well,
Because,
here's the thing: even if it goes back to that, the people that tried to destroy the country will still be there.
yeah,
So uh, the repair needs to be a lot harsher.
well, we might be
Just
seeing a little bit of that right now, frankly, to be honest. At least here in America and in England. We'll
yeah,
see.
I mean, any infection needs antibiotics.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Though I'll tell you what, and sorry if I keep going back to Catholicism, but that's what I know. In um, Canada, we all know what's going on in Canada, and also in Portland, because I was in Portland for a wedding not too long ago. When I went to mass, it was the most conservative mass I've ever been to, like, in years. In when I was in Vancouver just now before I was at the Alaskan cruise, it was in Latin. There were kneelers. It was traditional music and everything. And I'm like, that's wild. Like here in America, you'll find really bland, not a lot of good art. You might have to drive to find where it's really proper like that. So maybe there is a little bit of that happening where in the midst of that filth, people are like, we need the beauty higher than that. And that I've started seeing this phenomenon in Ireland in the 2010s. The last time I was there was 2019, where you started hearing everyone speaking Irish and not just in the Gaelshacht. And that was weird because usually you just wouldn't see people speaking it. I saw more people speaking it than I ever had in normal. And I talked with some friends, my mom and dad's friends. Uh, I visited with them, and they were like, "Yeah, they're saying that they're starting to erase our culture with what's been going on." And yeah, that suddenly everyone's starting to speak Irish. And she was like, and also at mass, people are in Latin, and there's more songs and things. So there is cultural resistance, but maybe we don't always see it because we can't get it out. And maybe that's where we can, though, with things like YouTube and alternative media. But the more we learn, I'm really shocked right now. I shouldn't have been that how much of even alternative media, even the so-called influencers, how much they are bought and paid for. It's been a bit of a scandal that's been going on. Sorry, I missed the dream turbo Phil. Well, hey, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here, and thank you. Um, so find what your beauty is and live it. I was told once by someone very, very high up in the church, the Apostolic Signatura, when I was talking with him. He told me, because I was like, hey, this is going on, blah, blah, blah. And he just looked at me and it's like, didn't you tell me you were a music teacher for little children? I said, well, yeah. He said, that's what you're supposed to do. He said, you've got to keep that alive. You've got to teach these children beautiful music. And if you start them young, then they recognize what beauty is. He says, share great music. And he wasn't even talking about religious music. That's not really what I do. And I do just great music. And great music for kindergarten is things like Ring Around the Rosie. That is actually great music. And it says complicated for children, the way you take it apart and all that. I'm going to start getting into music. I'll do it. I'll do a video about that. But the whole point is, and then if you keep alive classical music, you see there's one area so far that has really resisted this kind of cultural Marxism, and it has been classical music. You cannot have an orchestra. You really just can't and change it. You just can't change it. Every single note has to be the same. And that the more people listen to that. So for me, I'm classical music. So that's where I do it. And that's where I try to bring out the beauty. For someone
and
else,
peop-
it might be visual art. Like if you are a visual artist, others it might be sharing movies. The beauty of storytelling. Stieg and I did a video about that way back when, about where Stieg, where you were telling me about writing and all of that. Like that
You
there's
know, the biggest problem, kind of, is that conservatives refuse to stop being polite. It's way past that. People were polite and it got taken advantage of. Stop being polite.
I could argue we're not polite anymore. All you have to do is listen to our current administration.
Yeah, but it's not enough.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But, I'm saying, find your love, find your art and do it and make it beautiful. If you are a writer, write something beautiful, even if it's a
Did,
poem.
did you see that guy who tried to release a book and he got rejected and rejected and rejected? This is a true story, by the way. Then
Okay.
he pretended to be black and he applied again, and the book got released immediately.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's been a problem with public. That goes back to getting good writing. And as a woman, I have advantages, though
Oh
maybe
yeah,
I'm going down.
and
I probably, I know, for example, one of my big breaks was because I was a woman. And it not necessarily it was a DEI situation. It was just like they were wanting different perspectives. And it's like, we really don't have a woman writing about this. Could you please do this? So, but yeah, women have advantages as well.
yeah, especially now.
Yeah. However, I should say women of my background, maybe not so much anymore. But that's a whole other story for another day. But keep what is beautiful to you alive and share it. The art of storytelling is so important. There was a show called Once Upon a Time, and I did a lot of writing with that. And the first few seasons of it was peak. It was about stories and how stories are powerful. Fairy stories are powerful. Look at the essay that J.R. Tolkien wrote about on fairy tales. When people say fairy tales, that's as a pejorative. They don't know what they're talking about. It's great literature. Children's folk songs, children's singing game is great literature. We call it literature. Comic books, when done well, are great literature. And I think it's interesting, Steve, what you were talking about a little bit with the way the publishing world is, how Brandon Sanderson even has started to go uh, independent publishing. Though I have heard from people that are in the know that he's been pandering a bit, which is disappointing, but he still is not even going with the mainstream anymore.
No,
Yeah. But just beware because some people are also taking advantage of that. A garden is beautiful. My sister, she paints. I know you don't like her, but she's painting a picture of my cat, my dead one, the one that Steve. She was noisy. You know, that's a beautiful thing. I crochet, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm talking about girly things. I don't do art. Well, hell, if you're if you build something, like I've seen dudes like there's a dude down the road, he decided to rebuild the deck. It's badass. He got a bunch of wood delivered and worked all day on it. I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing. That's a work of art. Find books. Find hard cover books. Find real books, books that are in your hand so that they can't take it away from you, and read them. Go backwards. This is why it matters. This is why Jaws matters, the perfect movie. And there's so many other perfect movies. Some people have thrown them out in the chat. We would say Jaws. I always say the Raiders of the Lost Ark is a perfect movie. Man for All Seasons is the perfect movie. And, so many movies. Back to the Future, I think, is a perfect movie. Comedy. Lord of the Rings is not actually perfect, but it's pretty darn perfect. It's one of the best trilogies, but not necessarily the perfect trilogy. Because there are
Indiana Jones 1 and 3, I think, are pretty
Mhm.
perfect, and Blade Runner.
Which I still need to watch. And of course, there are perfect novels out there. I know they're chick flicks, but my gosh, read Jane Austen, especially Persuasion. Everyone wants to talk about Pride and Prejudice, but Persuasion's a great novel. Jane Eyre is a great novel. Um, Agatha Christie's mysteries. We are used to the ending of Murder on the Orient Express so much that we don't appreciate how brilliant and how that's great art. If I think it's a perfect mystery novel.
You know, I've seen interviews with a lot of real huge name fantasy authors,
Mm-hmm.
and at least half of them has said that one of the best writers that there ever was in the U.S. was Louis L'Amour.
Mm-hmm. Westerns.
Yeah, because he wrote the same type of book like the 300 times or whatever, but he made them unique enough, and every single one of them were engaging.
Yeah. Well, and the skill that goes behind it. Yeah, that it's not just like
Very
there's a
easy,
reason. Sorry.
very easy to dismiss. An author that writes, that just pours out westerns or something,
Mm-hmm.
but they are selling for a reason.
Yes.
You know, it's because they are in fact solid, even though they're short.
Yeah. Well, we've talked a lot about Robert E. Howard, the genius of his stories, and the
Yeah.
fact that they live on. Um, Lonesome Dove, I think for me, that's the perfect miniseries, the perfect novel. The novel, definitely the perfect novel. I love Lonesome Dove more than
So
anything.
Joe Abercrombie was recommending uh, the Lonesome Dove author.
Yeah.
He had him in his shelf. He was showing off his bookshelf. It was, I think, it was the Lord of the Rings and the George Martin books and Lonesome Dove. That
Mm-hmm.
was the ones he highlighted.
Yep. It matters. Great art matters. A garden. If you're a gardener, you know, make a garden. I don't have that skill, but if you do, and I don't know what dudes do. Well, I was saying already they make carpentry and stuff, and well, dudes can paint, but obviously I have a female perspective with this. But find out what you're good at. Find out what you love. Well, sports when done right is great. It's not. It's hard to call it art, but it's skill. I mean, the skill that goes into some of that stuff. Steeks had sent me some goals, like the best goals of it was Matt Letitia and some other dudes. That's art. I don't care what anyone says. When he kicked that thing, and oh wait, who is it? It was that one guy. It wasn't Matt Letitia. It was that one goal where the guy did it, and it like until you couldn't see it properly, you didn't realize how good it was from
Oh
behind.
yeah, Roberto Carlos.
Thank you. Yeah, it like went up over. I mean, it was like he used the force or something, but all he did was just kick the darn ball. But he kicked it in just the right way to make it happen. Um, yeah, don't let them take that away from you. All right, well, I'm going to get off my soapbox a little bit here, but there's a reason why people are going to see Jaws the way they are 50 years later.
And hell, if you just want to, I wouldn't call it art, but it's still fun, and it's you collaborate with other people is if you play role playing games like D&D or whatever, old D&D, not the new shit.
Yeah,
You can play the Conan D&D and all that stuff. Then you'll eventually, you'll make your own stories, won't you?
yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier, like about the stream, that the things that you have crafted. I, the thing you crafted with the Jaws story with the mayor, that was good storytelling right then and there.
Well, the dice helped with that one, so I'm not taking full credit for it.
That's true, but being a DM, a proper DM, there is skill behind that. Like, trust me, I
Well,
would.
it's kind of like, I wouldn't call it art, but it's more a craft, because the more you do it, the better you get, because you find out what works, you know, and then
Okay,
you
yeah, craft is
do that. But it's I wouldn't call it art. If someone's claiming they're an artist because they run a D&D game, no. And if they claim they're an author because they write D&D stuff, no. You're not an author if
yeah,
you host a D&D game.
yeah, that's fair.
You're more of a calculator most of the time, actually.
Yeah. But that's still doing what you do well and bringing joy. I mean, look at all the joy you brought us in the past 5 years. We started
Well,
this during COVID.
it's kind of like, if you ride a bike often, you'll get better at riding a bike.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe I'll show you how I write the D&D stuff. It's really not a lot of writing. It's more of a lot of coming up with ideas, and then possible options for what happens after the idea, which is because I kind of need to predict what you guys might do,
Yeah.
so it's not really, yeah, I'm not gonna run around calling myself a writer or an author just because I hosted D&D games. That's people who do that are trying way too hard to be something special, so they're giving themselves titles, you know.
Okay, that's fair. But
Yeah.
still, I think craft was maybe the better word. But that's I guess what I'm trying to say. Find that, find that within you. Um, some of the coolest things that happened were because of the dice, and maybe we'll talk about that because we've been trying to do another sequel to our D&D where we tell our stories from what we've done since then, the things with Mara, and hopefully maybe get Lady Gravemaster with us. Just the way that Steek has done so much fan service in the best sense of the word. He found out what we like, and we get to do it. Like, I got
Well,
to the Sistine
I,
Chapel.
I basically did what Hollywood doesn't. I asked the customers what they want,
That's true.
and then I decided, try to give that to the players to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Because this is where a lot of, and they're being groomed into it too. A lot of modern D&D players, and the people who run the game, they will claim they're storytellers because they're hosting a D&D game and all kinds of stuff. No, you're not. You're just running a game.
Yeah. I would agree. But
If
still,
if you're telling a story, right, in
Mhm.
D&D, you've done it wrong, because if you are telling the story, it's about the DM, not the players, which means you put the players in the passenger seat. The players should never be in the passenger seat. They should be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you've said that several times. I've been trying to convince you one day to do a stream just about being a DM. Maybe some other time, but what you've just said is just really cool. Salty Traveling Sea says the need to steal, make up a self-appointed title like writer when you play D&D or use AI is just another form of narcissism from weak soulless empty souls. It definitely
Yeah.
stems from narcissism. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you're a writer if you're a writer. Like, I'm a writer. I am also a historian. I've earned it.
The
Okay.
one thing that, in my opinion, that qualifies me as one was when I wrote that D&D world. I
Yeah.
created a world book for a company back in the day. That was a lot of writing, and that was a lot of, you basically did all the world building, and I
Yeah.
think that counts. But just running a D&D game or whatever, or like Salty said, claiming you're a writer when you use AI, no, not
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And hell, with D&D, you get all kinds of tools there as well. I don't tend to use them at all because I'd like to draw my own maps, unless I get lazy or run out of time. But I'll sit there and draw the maps whenever you guys are going to do a break-in a building or something. I'm drawing the building, the layout, and I like doing that because it's more old school, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
what
no.
happens is you guys decide not to break into the building, and I'm sitting there. Shit, this building had 3 floors. There were traps and everything in it. Didn't get used. Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. Salty's right. He says way too many younger people living in a screen-based engagement validation unworld.
Oh, there it is.
Not in the real tangible world. Yeah, you're right. And you know, the young people of today, they're the first generation that has grown up with the internet already being there. They've never known a world without the internet.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Avoid my own graphic paper Mac D&D models. That was normal on average. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that I have used AI for some of my thumbnails, but I have never said that I made those thumbnails. And I certainly would never say that I am a visual artist because of that, because it's not. And I'm aware that it's nothing compares to the real deal, but hell, this is my hobby.
I had someone DM me last year asked if I would pay her money to create thumbnails and stuff for the YouTubers I was on streams with. I'm like,
Yeah.
No. I just said no.
Yeah.
I'm not hosting the streams anyway, but it was kind of like it was a bit weird.
Well, I've got no problem if somebody knows how to do it and they have the skills, and if someone's willing to pay for it,
It was someone I've never heard of, and I've never even seen the person in any chats.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you always get that. I mean, hell, the amount of times I get offered, I got offered some guy from Russia, and it's like, oh yeah, I've seen, I'm really interested, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
No.
That has been a while though. The Russian scams and the Nigerian prince thing don't work anymore. Hello, Steve. Hello. We love our polar bears here at Miss Martin Muses. Let's see. He says the modern arts non-entertainment slop we've been forced to endure was made to validate the damaged half-lives of those screen-addicted kids we live in. Well, yeah, there's something to be definitely said about this. Well, and also think about the people that are getting jobs right now to write this stuff. They were raised with screens.
Well, to chime in, it's not just the kids. It's not just Generation Z. It's the millennials too. It's easy to just blame the kids because they're the ones maybe that are more visible. But look at YouTube. How many YouTubers in their 40s and 50s live on YouTube and Twitter? Those aren't kids,
Present company accepted, though I'm doing much better about Twitter. I pretty much stay away from Twitter, and I've been happier for it. Oh, calling the millennial kids. Yeah. Oh, I think I got you. Oh, good point. Yes.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Alrighty. Well, we need to wrap up this party. Stieg, are you have something coming up?
Might be. I'm doing that weird news thing with Mara on Wednesday. Not sure.
Oh, Worldwide Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, I'm. It's been 3 or 4 years now, and I still can't remember the title. So.
Well, it was changed because it was originally the good, the bad, and the weird, or the good, the strange, and the weird, or something. And then it was turned.
And then I came up with the new name, and I'm the one who can't remember it.
Yes, he's good at coming up with names. And speaking of names, coming up, what did we call it? The cowboy fireside or something? What did you say for these Western things?
The Western campfire.
The Western Campfire. Yeah, because we're going to continue to go with Westerns because we love Westerns here at Miss Martin Muses. And we did Tombstone. And now this month we are doing the Outlaw Josie Wales. I will be watching it this week with my family. Things happened in real life that kept us from watching it, but we decided we need to decompress. And my brother-in-law and many other people cannot believe I did not watch it. It's like, well, sorry. Well, we will remedy that together. Same thing happened with Tombstone. So yes, watch that every month. We decided, everyone just do one movie because, I think that's fun. So if you haven't watched the Outlaw Josie Wells or you want to rewatch that, look for that maybe sometime next week. Also, let's see what else is coming up with Miss Smart Muses. Oh, I'm going to be continuing my Wheel of Time thing. I am on book 11. And I hope to get the next reviews with Nordporeal Lifeform because we are the only ones that we know that have not already read it. So we're able to give our first impressions. Also, I have a new channel because I've moved my God stuff, my Catholic content over to a separate channel called Catholic Explaining. So if that is something that you enjoy or have enjoyed in the past and want to do and find, it's here on YouTube. I used to have it up and then I just messed it up. See, what do we say here? I hope to see another weird stream, says Turbo Phil. Okay. Adios. Have a good one, everyone. Great stream. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Yes, we are friendly here at Miss Martin Muses for the most part. At least I'm feeling a lot better now that my cat has disappeared and is not constantly fighting me on everything. And I think that's all that's really coming up. Look for some more shorts, maybe some more fashion stuff with me and Magitech Mags. Let's see. Is that it? That's pretty much it. So I want to thank everyone that has been here and participated again. I'm nothing without the chat here. Of course, Steve, thank you very much for being part of the panel, but everyone else in the chat, you are just as much a part of this. I want to thank Snortapupus Cooper, Salty Traveling Sea, Turbo Phil. We had Norporeal Lifeform earlier. We had, let's see. I lost it. Oh,
Maury.
Biggles Met showed up.
Maury.
Yeah, Maury showed up. Thank you, Maury. We had Dega Outlaw, Jacob Ironside. Things jump around. So if I do miss anyone, it is not intentional. It's just the way that it works. And we have Real Wadden Nation Gaming Clips. Thank you for being here. And I think I said Adega Outlaw. He popped in and said hello. So I want to thank everyone who is here. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. I do enjoy sharing my little thoughts and my musings with you all. I'm going to put my link here in the chat and then we're going to wrap up this party. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day and be certain to watch great movies, including Jaws.